So in our previous session, we saw which verse? Do you remember?
Verse 40.
Yes, verse 40. Please sing with me. अधर्माभिभवात् कृष्णा प्रद्युषन्ति कुलस्त्रियः स्त्रीषु दुष्टासु वार्ष्णेया जायते वर्णसंकरः. So can you share the summary what we discussed yesterday?
Yes. So they were referring to how when women have the right bringing up, as in the Varnashram system, then they create good families. Because when they don't, then it can lead to unwanted progeny or some irreligion, adharma, in their descendants. That's what I understand.
Okay, good. Now today we'll see the purport of Prabhupada. Good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. This is very true. You can see good population means who is following dharma, and you will see any person who is following dharma, his life becomes very easy. Materially also, he is good, means he prosperity is there, good health is there, means materially also the life is good, and spiritually also. But on the other hand, any person, if he's serving, basically if he's engaged in karma kand, he's not doing anything for self realization. Karma kand means only for material gains, he's doing some austerity or sacrifices and not anything for self realization. Then he may get material benefits, but his consciousness will not purify. So this is very important. So, good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. And we can clearly see this in devotees. Everything is there. The Varnashrama religions, principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. Now, let's understand. Uh, there are actually many principles of Varnashram where any person, he has belief in Varnashram principles, and whatever he is doing, Varnashram is not directly Krishna consciousness, but whatever he is doing, he is surrendering the result or benefit of his karma to the Lord. This is Varnashram dharma, where he is doing something directly. He's not doing directly something for the happiness or pleasure for the Lord. He's not directly doing bhakti, in easy words, but whatever he's doing to maintain his family or whatever basically karma he's doing, he do it and surrender the results and benefit to the Lord. But in modern times, no one is following Varnashrama because there are principles which needs to be followed, but people, they are not following it. And also, Prabhupada has not focused on Varnashrama for devotees. There are many rules in Varnashrama, but Prabhupada has not told us to follow exactly Varnashrama. principles of Varnashrama. So, yes, but it helps a person that he will gradually he will raise to the stage of self realization. So, principles of Varnashrama is not direct bhakti, it's a gradual process. So, yes. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. You might have heard this, especially it's very prominent in India, that if a woman is married, so now it's on her hand that how the house, the atmosphere of house would be. So if a lady, a wife is chaste, then it's all glorious, she will do nice things in the house. But if she's not chaste or loyal, then she will have affairs outside, and that grahasti will not survive for long. So it depends. So yes, this is what Prabhupada is saying. Such population depends on the chastity of faithfulness of its womanhood. Now, do you know Ayendra Prabhu? You don't know Ayendra Prabhu? Disciple of Prabhupada. He is responsible for 24 hours kirtan. He started 24 hours kirtan in Vrindavan, which is, still going. Let me show you his picture. Probably you might know him. You might not know him by his name. So let me show you his picture. Everyone knows Ayendra Prabhu. Can you see? You might have seen him in videos or reels.
See. Yeah, seems.
Yes, he is very, he was very exalted devotee when he left his body. So at that time, his body was in a position where he was bowing down to Lord Nityananda. And while, bowing down to Lord Nityananda, he left his body. So it's a long story, but yes, he was very exalted devotee of disciple of Prabhupada, and he was very austere. He is a great kirtaniya. He is responsible for 24 hours kirtan. He only started this 24 hours movement of kirtan in Vrindavan ISKCON, which is still going. So it's very beautiful. So, yes. So, once a devotee, he went to Ayendra Prabhu and he was complaining about his son that, oh, Prabhu, my son is not a devotee. He does not practice his devotional services, this, that. So now Ayendra Prabhu was very direct when he was responding to anyone. He was very direct. So you know what he said? That yes, definitely it's obvious if he's not a devotee because he is the product of your illicit life, illicit relationship. So yeah, that boy which he raised, that he was a devotee, but before coming into Krishna consciousness, so he was engaged in illicit relationships. So then later when he raised a kid, so definitely he was not a devotee. So that's why I'm saying this thing here, because Prabhupada is explaining this, that such population, which population, good population, is responsible, not responsible, depends on the chastity of and faithfulness of it's womanhood. So if people, if they are in illicit relationship, or illicit doesn't only mean that they are um, you know they have affairs outside, but even with the partner, if they are, you know
Adultery.
yes, with their partner, if they are doing it for the sake of enjoyment, and not, in Krishna consciousness, partners can also intercourse, but for the sake of raising a child, and that to be a devotee child. And for that, before raising kid, I mean before progeny, uh, it is said, I mean, it's a rule that they should chant 64 rounds every day, so that whatever child will come in the womb of mother, that would be devotee in future. So yes, it's very important in Krishna consciousness. It's a rule that if devotee parents, I mean husband and wife, they wish to raise kids, then before that they need to follow these principles very strictly and chant more and more. And of course they intercourse with this consciousness that they wish to raise a kid which would be a devotee. We will help that child to make him devotee, to, we will take his responsibility, that we will become a medium to liberate him from this material world. This is what it means to raise a Krishna conscious child. So yes, these things matters a lot, that with what consciousness people are, engaging in physical activities, I mean intercourse, with what consciousness they are doing it, it matters a lot. So yes, Ayendra Prabhu told that devotee, that it was obvious he is not a devotee because he is the product of your illicit sex life. So yes, as children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. We discussed this point yesterday also, that it's very easy that anyone can befool women. I mean, can you see this? Can you see this in your own life? Because I can very much see it in my own life. Not now, but uh, before, when I was not in Krishna consciousness, it was very easy to befool me. So yes, it's like, because it's very nature of ladies or girls that they can easily get convinced. Anyone can befool them very easily.
Um,
So yeah.
yeah, well, one has to be a good judge of character. You kind of can tell where another person is coming from. You
Hmm.
know, like there's many scams these days. Um, but I like, from companies, they're always giving you advice that there's this and that. But sometimes, like if I receive emails and it's a scam, I can see um, sometimes there's something about it that doesn't seem right. And you can tell that this is not genuine. Um, so I think in people, sometimes we can also um, um, kind of have some intuition about it that something's not right. But sometimes karma can delude you. And then because of karma, you may not have that perception. That is true. Like, I think that's what we're trying to get at, maybe.
Yes, this is true. But one more point I wanted to share here, that for devotees, there is no karma, because everything is whatever happening in our life, it's the direct arrangement of Krishna, and that is for our purification. So this is true that whatever is happening in anyone's life, he is receiving the fruit of his karma. Whatever he did in his past life, or even in this life in past, he is receiving the fruit of his karma, either good or bad. But this is not applicable on devotees. But still, whatever incidents or things happen in our life, that is only for our purification. Purification means that will help us to progress in our bhakti life. This is very important to
Yeah,
understand.
I didn't realize in that way. I mean, sometimes Prabhupada speaks in terms of that there is, uh, but from what you're saying, I I think that's just such a, it's mercy, isn't it?
Yes, because Krishna is very
To
merciful.
know.
And yes, I already shared with you that an astrologer, he predicted that I will get married 2 times. But everything changed because everything is happening according to Krishna's plan. So, and we don't know what are his plans. So it's amazing. Okay. So you will see right now also, I mean, as devotee, because he is serving Krishna, so we get intelligence to understand that the person who is standing in front of us, and if he's giving us some advice or whatever, if he's talking with us, so we can understand that he genuine, or he's just pretending to be genuine. We can understand it. Krishna gives this intelligence. But even devotee Matajis can bewildered many times, because this is the very nature of ladies, that they prone to degradation, or they are very prone to mislead. But if even a devotee Mataji, if she is very strict in her principles, standards about bhakti, and she is practicing bhakti very nicely, like her Shravan hearing is very strong, she's chanting every day her rounds. So you will see, uh, because this happens, Prabhupada mentioned this in Nectar of Instruction, that the progress in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of a devotee. That with how much sincerity he is, with how much sincerity and discipline he is following the process. So this is important point. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. So, yes, it is said that women will always seek shelter. Before marriage, she stays under the shelter of father, after marriage, under the shelter of husband, and after husband, under the shelter of her son. So,
Yes,
she
yes.
always need protection. Okay. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. So it's clear. According to Chanakya Pandita, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So the different family traditions of religious act. Now, see, when it's mentioned here. First of all, we should understand that we are not women, we are souls. We are in this body. So, because we are in this body, so that is why such tendencies are there, which is dominating us. Because although we are soul, we are spiritual soul, but we are not realizing it yet. So, one should not identify herself with this body, that I am a woman, and see Chanakya Pandita is abusing. He's saying that I am not intelligent. So we should not take it in that way. It's just because we are in this body, so we are helpless. What can we do? What can be done? But please try to understand, if we are following bhakti, if we are serving Krishna, then everything is glorious. And of course, a person, if we talk about a woman, if she is serving Krishna, so this already shows that she is very intelligent. Here, whatever Prabhupada is mentioning, he is not mentioning with the bhakti point of view, Krishna consciousness point of view. He is telling this thing in general. So if a woman she is serving Krishna, then it shows that she is very intelligent, because not every girl or women, they are not serving Krishna. So yes.
A lot
So
of people have a problem with some of these statements. And so some women get offended by that. And then, some devotees may explain, like what you're saying, we're souls. And I like what you said, that, if you are into Krishna consciousness, then therefore you're making an intelligent choice. Yeah.
yes, this is true. And I'm not saying this. Krishna is saying this in Bhagavad Gita. There are out of millions and billions of people, very few are yogis, and out of thousands of yogis, only there is only one person who devotes his life to me. We will read this in Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is saying this. Okay. So the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varn Ashrama system. On the failure of such Varn Ashrama dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men. And thus, adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society. So, now see, one very important point I wanted to mention here. You will see in ISKCON, people, devotees are seen to be following principles. Because you will see in India, because there are many temples in India, Hindu temples, if you say. So there are many temples, or there are many temples of Lord Krishna also. But the way devotees are seen to worship Krishna, to follow principles, chanting, hearing, the way we see it in ISKCON, it is not the same case in other temples. And that's why, because people see devotees that they are practicing dharma is not a right word, it's very short, but yeah, they are practicing bhakti in life. So that's why they also get inspired. So you will see why ISKCON is expanding, because devotees are visibly seen, and plus devotees are following, they are chanting Mahamantra, they are following regulative principles, they are hearing about Krishna, they are doing everything to please Krishna. And that's why ISKCON is expanding. And you will see in the whole world, ISKCON is the only organization which is, expanding from so many years. So many people are getting inspired and they are joining ISKCON. And when they follow everything, when they follow the practice, then they visibly see transformations in their lives. So this is very beautiful point. And somewhere I also got convinced uh, about Krishna consciousness, because I was clearly seeing visible transformations in my life for all the qualities or transformations I was hankering for. I was literally hankering for it. I got it so easily just by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And you won't believe, at that time I was not chanting very nicely. I was chanting very unattentively. While chanting, I was using my mobile phone because I heard one thing, that however you chant, you will get benefit. So I thought, wow, it's very easy. It's very amazing. Even if I am chanting and I am not giving attention to my chanting, then also I will get the benefit. So I was chanting every day 16 rounds, but I was chanting it very unattentively. But then also it was working on me. Then later, I heard that we should chant nicely, we should give attention to Krishna, because holy name of Krishna is Krishna himself. And if someone has came to your house, and if you are not giving attention to that person, so it would be disrespectful. So later, when I understood this point, so then I improved. So yes, Krishna consciousness is very amazing. Very, very amazing. And I will repeat this point one more time, that one should become selfish here, because this is our real selfishness. If we are following Krishna consciousness, then only we are doing something for the benefit of our real self. So one should become selfish here, no matter what's happening in our external life, whatever might be happening, we should prioritize Krishna consciousness in our life, because interest in Krishna consciousness is extremely rare. First point. Plus, it just slipped from my mind.
To be constant.
Not constant. I was sharing something important. Anyways, let's see if I
Come
will.
back later when you're not thinking about it.
Okay, so with this, we have completed our verse 40. And it took half an hour today to complete Purport of Prabhupada. So maybe we can start with next verse in our next session. Because this verse is very long.
Okay.
There are many verses. Prabhupada will explain many things in this verse, and it's very important. So we can, start it in our next class. Okay. So with this, we will stop here. If you want to add something, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mataji, for what you were saying. I seem to have heard from a lecture something, because you were saying, to chant you need to give that not just the priority, but also the attention and the focus. Um, and so what I've heard is that there is two separate things, and we shouldn't confuse it. And um, so one is that if we're going to decidedly sit to do, certain rounds, or even if it is just the one round, but you want to be very dedicated, then you have to, like what you're saying, you need to give your undivided attention, like when you're welcoming a guest and you want to be there and present. Um, and then the other one, maybe that's why it was working for you somehow. It was that when you are thinking of Krishna all the time, so if you're going to think of Krishna all the time, then you are somehow internally going through uh, Mahamantra in your mind. So you could be doing different activities, but then it's something. You told us, didn't you, that um, during construction of the temples, Srila Prabhupada was questioned. Oh, are you focused on this? Is material construction? And then he said, no, listen, at my back. And then the person could hear the Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Because he was constantly, um, this was flowing through him. So,
Because he
so
was constantly remembering Krishna.
yes, yes. So that's what I have understood.
Hmm.
That
So, when we sit for chanting, the thing which you can do is, if it becomes very difficult that, oh, only chanting at the time of chanting, I only have to chant, try to not do anything physical, using your phone or doing any other physical activity. If you are, if you have sit for chanting, then even if any thoughts are coming, then either you try to turn those thoughts towards Krishna, because while chanting, very amazing thing is that you try to hear Mahamantra. But if you are not able to do it, so at that time, even if you are thinking about Krishna, or you heard any pastime of Krishna, about Bhagavad Gita, some philosophy related to Bhagavad Gita, then that is also very good. So at the time of chanting, nothing material, think only about Krishna or his holy names. That is offenseless chanting. So, while chanting, you can, put a photo of Krishna in front of you, different photos of different pastimes. That will help you to focus your mind on Krishna, and thoughts will not disturb you. This is what I do, and it
yeah,
helps.
yeah. Thank you
You
for
will see
sharing.
your heart will become joyful if you will chant like this in the remembrance of Krishna, because it makes Krishna happy. Krishna is pleased when we are thinking of him, thinking about him. Or even, sometimes I have a deity of Krishna. Sometimes, thoughts come that, oh, I will make him wear this dress or that jewelry, or I'll offer him these flowers. So that is also glorious, because you are absorbed in the thoughts about Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Okay, I wanted to share one more point. Just 2 minute story, not story, but something about the spiritual master of Prabhupada. You know, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakurji, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, he said, he was telling to his disciples that because there was not a guarantee that whatever child, if I'll raise a child, there is no guarantee that that child would become a devotee. So that's why, if there was a guarantee that the child which will come, it would be a devotee, then I can intercourse for 100 times. But because there is no guarantee, that's why I remained a brahmachari throughout my life. So he told this. It's mentioned in Prabhupada Lilamrita also, that there is no guarantee that a child, whatever child will come, he will be a devotee or not. So yes. But this matters when, a devotee husband and wife, if they wish to raise a child with this consciousness, they are following some austerity, chanting more rounds, and if they have such consciousness, then possibility is there they will get a devotee child. And Krishna himself is telling this in Bhagavad Gita again, that this calm, this intercourse activity is also me. But when people or devotees, they wish to raise kids for the sake of making him devotee, so it's very sacred. This also becomes sacred when consciousness changes. So it's just the matter of consciousness and intention.
Yeah. Yeah, I like those words, that it has to be sacred, sublime, and just like for Krishna, the word devotion is always so important. Yeah.
Okay, with this, we will stop here now. Srimad
Okay.
Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai,
jai. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.